Hello.
Hi.
We're back with another chat. So this time we're talking about day one patches and broken games in general, shipping broken. And since we are a retro games couple, we will also focus in the retro side of things because there is this nostalgia that games of old, you just put them in the drive and they were working immediately, which was kinda true in the consoles, not always in the PC. So the situation these days usually is that you buy a game and this game is put you put the disc, if there's even a disc in the drive, you start in the first day and you got like a 1, 5, 10, 20, 60, I don't know how much gigabytes patch that you need to download in order to run the game. Why does this happen? The biggest reason for this is that the games ship broken. Usually, it's a corporate decision due to we don't want to miss the Christmas market, we don't want to miss the summer market.
Release dates. Early release dates.
Yeah, so you have to make it happen. So they put out the game, they make it gold, as we say, because in the old days there was a gold CD that it was used to create the press for the game. So the game goes gold, as we say, and after that they continue working and fixing bugs. The first day that you can start the game, there's all these bug fixes and extra content or extra policies. They have to be downloaded for the game to run.
This was in earlier games too, not the true retro games, but those until 2000.
They are 25 years ago now.
Yeah. Those games had what we say expansion packs. They would have some new content, but in the new content, they would also have some fixes. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes they had bug fixes.
There were also
When it was in computers, of
there
course.
were also patches. I mean, I remember when I first got Fallout, for example. Fallout was totally broken,
Mhm.
both 1 and 2, but mostly 1 for me. I mean, I played 1 much more. Maybe that's why. And it was far worse because we didn't have internet back then, at least not in Greece.
Well,
Not good internet. So the only way was to wait for the next month for a magazine because we got
To
our
publish,
patches, from
to publish the patch pack.
the magazine CD. So we could got the patch, put it in our computer, or go to an internet cafe with like a zip drive or what we had back then. I had a zip drive. I don't know what other people had.
Yeah, but before the internet cafes, which were also 2000s thing.
90s.
No.
I was going to internet cafe in 1998. Yeah.
Yeah, before that,
No,
there was
not
nothing.
in Greece because we didn't have high.
Yeah, we didn't
high
have.
speed.
I don't think we had internet.
No.
We didn't have
Very
connection.
backwards country.
Yeah, we didn't have connection at all. So
only some companies had and some universities only.
Yes. So it was inaccessible, and before that, so it was the magazines, which they had patch discs.
Yeah, but the games were broken. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, you were buying games and they were broken in the box, and you had to wait for the patch to fix the breaking bug. And sometimes there were game breaking bugs or soft locking bugs or unplayable bugs, and things were not as rosy as people remember. Of course, in the consoles, because the consoles back then, like the NES, the Super NES, maybe the PlayStation 1 as well, they didn't have internet. And
they didn't. No.
So internet connectivity. So you got the CD or the cartridge, and that was that. You could not even patch it.
Yeah.
You could technically patch in the Super NES with Game Genie. Because they activated, they were overriding the software, and you could activate some codes that would fix some games. That was really cheating. But
roundabout way.
You could also.
Thing is that you would get a broken game due to release dates and due to management wanting to take the game out the market, and
And you could not even have a day one patch. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, you were supposed to wait until you would have a patch.
I remember playing the game, playing 10, 20, 30 hours, and suddenly, no game, everything broken, nothing works, I cannot go on. So I'm waiting for the next month's magazine to see if there is any patch. Yeah, it was not so nice. It was not so nice.
You will have to put the patch yourself to install it, to...
Well, it was not that hard. It was just run the patch exe.
It's not about being hard or not. It's the whole idea that you're doing this thing. Anyway, after that, when we went into the internet era here in Greece...
And in the rest of the world, I guess. We were not so far behind. Maybe 6-7 years only. Maybe.
Anyway, after that, when we had internet and the games were having servers, first MMOs started.
Yeah. Yeah, patches all the time with MMOs.
Yeah,
all the time. Every day patch, not first day patch, every day patch with MMOs.
Patches every day, tons of data, and gigabytes from then.
Megabytes.
At first it was megabytes, yes. Give it a year, it was gigabytes.
Well, yeah, but MMOs are different because they have to patch the game all the time so that they can support the new, art, the new quests.
The new events and quests, yeah.
It's like the mobile phones now that we have now, which also almost every day, you got a patch for your mobile game.
2 gigabytes patch? Minimum.
No, in the games that I play, it's usually between 10 and 100 megabytes maximum.
There are those, but if you miss
for
like a day or two.
If you're playing Infinite Nikki, it would be gigabytes with all the 3D mods.
Yeah, Infinite Nikki, my god. Every day a few megabytes, but if you have a new event, it's like 3 gigabytes. Because, of course. And this stacks.
But this is not due to, the game being broken. This is just adding content. It's a different, it's not patches.
The patches. The patches are also into those new content. They use those updates to ease in patches too. They do it in every game that is like that. MMO, gacha.
I see. In any case, my idea for this chat was to, undo the rose-tinted glasses and remind people that, in the retro era, it was even worse than now. I mean, people complain now because they have to download 20 gigabytes of fixes in the first day. But, it is even worse when you could not... 60. I think one game had 60. I don't remember which one. Maybe a Call of Duty. I don't even remember. I don't know. It was all crap. When they said, put something and then we'll put the real game the first day.
Maybe Cyberpunk?
No, Cyberpunk was worse.
It was another thing.
Cyberpunk had a day 100 patch until they could fix it. But it's even worse when you don't have the day one patch. And you have to play the broken games and wait for 30, 60 days for a magazine to bring you the patch.
Some people would try to find a bug that wouldn't do the bug.
Yeah.
Find a way around.
Like the NES games. I mean, I remember playing, I think it was very broken, if I remember well. And at some point, you had to avoid these or the game would... Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I had played quite a lot rental games in the NES era. So it's like 30 years ago, so I don't remember much. But I remember, there were games. We could not patch them because they were in cartridge.
That is true.
If the game was broken...
It was broken, and that was it.
You were just trying to avoid what activates the bug. Like, if the bug always activates when you jump on this, then you never jump on this, sorry, I blurred you, and you go below always, so you're not...
This would be in magazines too, sometimes. Sometimes magazines would say what to do if you encounter this problem. You just do that. You press this. Or avoid this.
Or go around this.
Yes. And however, we don't remember it like that because as a generation, we are used to things being slow and evolving all the time and waiting for the next big thing. I think, and we were people that usually try to find ways to do stuff ourselves. Maybe that's why we didn't care much about it.
Yes,
Or we don't
back
remember it
then,
that much?
do it yourself was very big back then.
Yeah.
Not only in furniture and stuff, but also in computers too. We're
Yeah.
making our own computers. I mean, I haven't lately made my own computer, but back in the day, I was always shuffling parts, changing hard
Yes.
drives, changing fans, changing motherboards.
I remember I didn't do the hardware stuff, usually because I didn't have to. But I was always playing with connectivity, for example.
But
I
before,
would always try to do more LAN parties and
before that, before you were born, we used to play with EMS and XMS RAM in DOS to make the
yeah.
game run better. So we're putting like, let's try with 2 megabyte EMS MEM controller.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Then it doesn't run well. Let's try with the 1 megabyte XMS and 1 megabyte. You were trying to find the configuration of the computer that the game would run better,
Best.
even
Yeah.
even a little better. I mean, so that it doesn't be
It doesn't
very slow.
glitch, it
Yeah.
doesn't, yes.
Those were not the days, really.
Yeah, those were not the days.
I mean, it was great the feeling when you found the combination of the
You felt really amazing.
yeah, but
You
it was
said,
just a
"Oh,
pain in
I'm
the ass.
amazing."
And games should not be like that. It should not be an exercise in computer management. I mean,
I would disagree just because I would disagree for one reason only.
yes, console girl, tell us why you disagree.
The cost
What was?
and the cost that you give, the money you give for a game now, which is, it hasn't changed. It has gone up since then when we were playing it. Yeah, it was high up even then, but now you don't have a product. You don't have a console, or sometimes you don't have you don't have the hardware. You don't have the hard parts. You don't have a lot of things that were coming with a game back then. Now you just have a digital file, and sometimes that is broken, and sometimes that doesn't work, and you need the patches, and you need a good internet. Sometimes you need to be online to play the game. Not
Well, even sometimes. I think in all games now you pretty much need to be on.
yeah, without it being an MMO, for example. You always need to be online, and that for me is worse than back then, because now you're paying a lot of money for less, and
Yeah.
don't forget that studios now and the companies now are bigger than ever. They have so many employees. I mean, back then they made games with half a computer and duct tape. Okay, it was like 3 people in a back garage, and they did a
They
video
made
game.
Doom.
Yeah, and they made Doom, yes. And now there are these huge corporations, the huge companies,
500 people per day.
people working working hours.
Crunch time.
Recording all those people that are overworked, and you're paying more to have less stuff.
Okay. Let's put this in the
Nowadays.
next video.
Yeah, I don't like this. That's why I'm saying that it's worse.
Yeah.
Worse now.
To tie it back, you mean that all this happens and yet you have to download 60 gigabytes in the first day.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point exactly.
But on the other hand, one could argue, so to also go to the other side and give them some credit, that this way you at least have a whole game experience. You have a game much less broken than the one they sold you in the
Even
disc.
with the day one patch.
Yeah, because with the
Yeah.
day one patch they have fixed hundreds of tens of bugs,
Yeah.
maybe game-breaking bugs that you would be very frustrated if they.
True.
And then there's also Batman Arkham for the PC that it not even got a patch. They just unpublished it and returned the money to the people. That was very.
That was very
It was
bad.
too broken.
Are they still buying games from that company?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the PC port. I mean, some people in YouTube have made videos about it. And there's some porting
that was
issues. I don't know.
bad.
Yes, I don't know how this even passed the QA.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happened QA, they just port it and throw it out to the people.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
But yeah, you get a much better experience. I mean, it's frustrating that you have to go to the internet, download, wait 3-4 hours to start the game. Yeah, but then you get a much better game.
I think it's about the expectations. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe expectations. You were expecting things back then to be broken.
For me,
Just a little bit.
the big issue is just the frustration of the you expect it's the game the day the game launches. Although now they have pre-loading, so you can start loading the previous week. But anyway,
Right.
even with the first day patch, at least you get a much better game.
True. That is true.
And
That is
I
true.
think the companies take advantage of that because they know that they can make the game golden, start releasing, and then in the 2 weeks that happen, they can full on work on bug fixing because they know they have the day one patch.
And I'm really, the community managers must be really sad with all this. The community managers must hear every weird thing about it.
That's it about the day one patching. Next video will be about the pricing of games.
I would like to know in the comments which you believe was worse. Wait for the patch and figure things out yourself, like in the old days, or now with the first day patch, which is loads and loads of data that you have to wait.
I think they don't allow you to play without installing the patch. You don't have this option. You have to install it.
Yeah, which is worse?
You cannot not install it and say, okay, I'll play the broken version today, and during the night it will update.
Well, I would like to know if which one is worse or better, because people be playing and people be having opinions, and I wanna see.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's worse now, and you say it's worse back then.
Yes.
And I would like.
Yeah, if someone is watching this video, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
If someone's watching this channel, we don't know anymore.
Like, subscribe, because you like these faces.
Okay. Bye from us.
Bye.